College football seems to have started the planned development of getting back onto the field and getting back to work for the season. As we said yesterday, the NCAA Division I Council voted on a plan finalized last week by the Oversight Committee that's going to allow teams to hold walkthrough practices with footballs, film reviews, in-person meetings, and that's before preseason camp begins in August. So this is going to take the place really of spring drills. You get a couple of weeks to install, whether it be new scheme, formations on the field with working out with walkthrough practices, and you'll be able to break that down in film. You'll have some in-person meetings that you'll be able to go through, because as Ogeron has stopped by here and said each Tuesday, look, you can have no interaction. All this stuff's voluntary, and you can't talk to them right now. You can't even really be watching them work out in the facility. It's really Tommy Moffitt's team right now who's got the direct line of communication and direct line of being able to kind of reach out and touch these guys and making sure that they're in shape. But now you've got a format, you've got some dates that you can rely on with the NCAA's information that they put out. The model is set to begin on July 13th, where schools can require players to spend up to 8 hours. Notice that word require. You lose the voluntary stuff there. Now it becomes mandatory for players to spend up to 8 hours per week weight training and conditioning. Teams can also arrange for 2 hours a week for film study. And then 10 days later, this is on that July 13th model, on July 24th, teams can now get onto the field and hold walkthrough practices with footballs and in-person meetings. So now you can start some of that installation stuff that you missed with spring, which was, for a team like LSU, when you just speak specifically to the local team here and all of the players that they are replacing, spring drills, those practices, those 16 practices on the field, those they needed those bad. I mean, those were a must for LSU. I mean, you're talking about getting Miles Brennan, new terminology, even a new coach. With Scott Linehan. Kevin Falk was here yesterday morning, and he was talking about only the 3 practices that the coaches had to work together. It was as much of a period of those guys becoming acclimated with each other as it was the new players. So there's all types of layers to this stuff that helps teams find their footing here before the season starts. And with the NCAA yesterday, so with July 24th, teams can get on the field. Practice with footballs. Those would be walkthrough practices. Then you can get back into the facility, sit down and watch what you've just done on the field and coach them up from a film room standpoint. And then that kind of slides directly in to training camp, and that's set to begin August 7th. And the teams will still have a period within that fall camp of acclimation. And you're talking about going through shells, helmets, shoulder pads, into pads. Those that transition of time is still going to exist for college football teams. And as we said, LSU is set to open up on September 5th versus Texas San Antonio in Tiger Stadium. LSU administrators told the Advocate that they intend to evaluate different scenarios for how to safely host games, and a final decision on the season will come sometime in July. So you're starting to get and see some of the plans being laid in place. Now what will happen here? It's still a fluid situation. I mean, this thing is still going to be very fluid in the sense of new information could obviously hijack the plan that's been put in place. Anything that may happen. I mean, something at Houston that happened at Houston that we told you about, coming from the weekend, where they had 6 players test positive with they could have handed the virus off. I mean, they were still in a contagious period where they were able to give that to other student athletes. So I mean, you can't provide a dangerous atmosphere for the student athletes. These are things that are still going to be evaluated daily from the administration standpoint. But as the NCAA goes, now you have some dates in line that you could look at with the July 13th starting date, where schools can require the players to be in the facility, and then July 24th with having them on the field.